Sauron is arguably the most powerful Maiar to ever walk the planet, and is the most evil and terrifying figure in the Second and Third Ages of Middle-earth. But despite his legacy, Sauron is not the strongest character in Middle-earth, rising to power using magic, deception, and manipulation instead. In today's video, we will be ranking all the beings stronger than Sauron in Middle-earth. Starting off at number 12, we have Feyenor, the son of Finwë, and the greatest among the Noldor. Feyenor was said to have unparalleled skill of word and hand, and was as good a warrior as he was a craftsman. Feyenor is known for creating the Silmarils, which contain the light of Valinor within them. Morgoth's theft of these artifacts triggered the War of the Jewels, during which the armies led by Feyenor thwarted Morgoth's forces at the Battle Under the Stars. Even though Feyenor himself was defeated in battle, he was vastly outnumbered with Gothmog, Lord of the Balrogs, among his adversaries. In a one-on-one battle, his combat prowess could allow Feyenor to overwhelm Sauron. At number 11, we have Feyenor's half-brother Fingolfin. Following Feyenor's death, Fingolfin became the first High King of the Noldor. Even though he lacked his brother's skill as a craftsman, Fingolfin was the mightier of the two in battle. Fingolfin challenged Morgoth himself to single combat to avenge his people lost during the Battle of Sudden Flame. Fingolfin managed to keep up with Morgoth for most of the battle, inflicting severe wounds on the Dark Lord that would never heal. However, weariness eventually took over, and Fingolfin could no longer evade being struck down by Morgoth. Now, Sauron was Morgoth's lieutenant, and we'll explore that matchup later on in this video, but Fingolfin's ability to keep up with Morgoth clearly places him above Sauron in terms of battle power. Combat isn't our only metric to determine whether a character is stronger than Sauron, as evidenced by number 10, Meon the Maya. Meon was the queen of Doriath, and she was known for her beauty, wisdom, and songs of enchantment. Her defensive magic was the only thing protecting the domain of the elves from the great spider Angolant, a beast we will address a bit further along this list. When Morgoth attempted to invade Doriath during the First Battle of Beleriand, it was once again a fence of enchantment known as the Girdle of Meon that prevented him from entering. This spell ensured that no being weaker than Meon could breach the barrier. Meon was also highly skilled in the reversal of dark magic and spells. She alone was able to lift the dark curse placed upon Huan by Morgoth, returning the man to his senses once more. Meon's pure heart would make her incorruptible by Sauron, and her powerful enchantments would easily resist his dark magic. But while Meon is easily stronger than Sauron, she's a pacifist by nature, meaning she would never engage him in battle. Continuing with magical beings, we have Gandalf the White, but not quite. Number 9 on our list is Olorin, Gandalf's original Maiar form. When the 5 Istar were sent to Middle-earth by the Valar to assist its inhabitants in the fight against Sauron, their powers were limited, preventing them from going all out in battle. This is why Gandalf the White is clearly stated to be weaker than Sauron. However, in his original Maiar form, Olorin is one of the wisest and most magically adept beings in the world. Even as Gandalf the Grey, he was able to defeat one of Morgoth's Balrogs and resist the One Ring's temptation completely. After reincarnating as Gandalf the White, he was able to overcome Sauron's authority, and his magic was heightened, allowing him to hide Frodo from Sauron's eye. Given these feats, an unshackled Olorin would surely exceed the power of Sauron and other Maiar-level threats. But at number 8, let's take a look at a character that actually defeated Sauron once, Lucian, the daughter of Meon. Lucian possessed a supernatural beauty that could mesmerize even beasts of darkness. She combined this ability with her spells of sleep, illusion, and confusion to overcome even the most powerful adversaries. When her husband, Beren, was imprisoned by Sauron, Lucian traveled alone to the dungeons on the Isle of Werewolves. With just Huan the wolf to assist her, she was able to rescue Beren and defeat Sauron. With Beren by her side, Lucian passed through the gates of Angband to reach the Dark Throne. She was able to sing Morgoth and his entire court into an enchanted sleep before reclaiming the Silmaril on Morgoth's Iron Crown. While it's unclear whether Lucian would triumph in a battle against Sauron directly without Huan or Beren, her magical powers are clearly greater than the Dark Lord's. Following Lucian, the position of number 7 would naturally go to Huan, the Hound of Valinor. This great wolfhound was granted special powers by the Valar, making him immortal, tireless, and sleepless. Together with Lucian, Huan took down hordes of werewolves on Sauron's Isle, even overpowering Draugluin, the sire of all werewolves. This forced Sauron himself to enter the battle, but even Morgoth's lieutenant could not stop the great wolf. Huan was an instrument in Lucian and Beren's passage through Angband, and joined them in the hunting of the wolf Carcharoth after they recovered the Silmaril from Morgoth. Given Huan's success in defeating Sauron and Carcharoth before dying of the deep wounds inflicted on him, there's no doubt that Huan would have been more than a match for Sauron if their paths crossed again. Sticking with the theme of mythical beasts, at number 6, we have Encalagon the Black. Encalagon was the mightiest dragon to ever live, with his strength and firepower exceeding that of even Glaurung, the father of all dragons. Encalagon was bred by Morgoth and hidden away in Angband with his legion of winged dragons. He was finally unleashed during the War of Wrath, when the Valar had vanquished all of Morgoth's other armies. Encalagon was so powerful that he immediately turned the tide of battle, driving the Valar armies out of Angband. Encalagon was finally stopped by Earendil and the Eagles of Manwë, who engaged him in the sky for over a day. The battle ended with Encalagon falling upon the Thangorodrim, with the impact cleaving the volcanic mountains in half. His ability to drive back the Valar forces and sheer brute strength would definitely place Encalagon above Sauron in power. Continuing with the theme of monstrous beasts, at number 5 we have Angolant. However, even though Angolant takes the form of a monstrous spider, she's actually a spirit that is almost like the embodiment of the void itself. Angolant was initially an ally of Melkor, and even helped him destroy the 2 trees of Valinor. The spirit consumed the sap of the 2 trees, but was still unsatisfied, emptying the wells of Varda as well to quench her thirst. Angolant grew to a tremendous size that even terrified Melkor, and when he refused to fulfill a promise to her, the spider turned on her ally. Angolant easily overpowered Melkor and began strangling him to death, forcing Melkor to cry for his life. Fortunately for the future Dark Lord, his cries were heard by the Balrogs in Angband, who burned away Angolant's webs to rescue their master. Seeing how this primordial spirit nearly killed Melkor with ease, there should be no question about what would happen in an encounter with Sauron. Continuing with mythical and inexplicable spirits, number 4 on our list of beings stronger than Sauron goes to Tom Bombadil. This being is so ancient that his arrival in Middle-earth is believed to even predate the Dark Lord's appearance in Arda. Now, just like Meon, Tom Bombadil would not beat Sauron in combat since he has absolutely no interest in fighting the forces of evil. However, Tom's powers within his realm, deep inside the Old Forest, are unparalleled among the inhabitants of Middle-earth. Not even the One Ring held any influence over him, and its powers of invisibility appeared not to work within Tom Bombadil's domain. Gandalf himself confirmed that the One Ring could be hidden away from Sauron in Tom's hands, but it was a risky proposition, as the spirit had no interest in protecting the ring or containing it within his realm. Now we reach the top 3 beings stronger than Sauron in Middle-earth, and at number 3 we have the Valar. The Valar were the 14 Ainur who entered Arda after its creation to shape and rule the world according to the vision of Iluvatar. These beings possessed godlike powers. Ulmo commanded the waters of the world, Aule crafted the substance of Arda, and Yavanna brought forth all plants and animals. The Valar subdued Morgoth at the end of the First Age when he was at the height of his power, capturing him and casting him into the void. These beings purposefully limited their interventions in Middle-earth after the First Age, choosing to guide through the Ishtari rather than direct action, fearing the destruction their power might cause. At number 2, we have Morgoth, formerly known as Melkor. Morgoth was originally the most powerful of all the Valar, possessing a portion of the abilities of all other Valar combined. Melkor's ambition led him to rebel against Iluvatar, and he was the first being to introduce discord into the music of the Ainur during the creation of Arda. Unlike Sauron, who mainly relied on deception and manipulation, Morgoth wielded incredible destructive power. He corrupted the very fabric of Arda by dispersing his power throughout it, tainting the world itself with his malice. Morgoth's strength was demonstrated when he battled Fingolfin, as we mentioned earlier. Though wounded 7 times, Morgoth ultimately prevailed. He created the first dragons, trolls, and corrupted countless beings, including the Balrogs and eventually Sauron himself. The War of Wrath, which ended the First Age, required the combined might of the host of Valinor to defeat Morgoth. Even then, he was not destroyed, but rather cast out into the void beyond the walls of night. And finally, at number 1, we have Eru Iluvatar, the supreme deity of Tolkien's universe. Eru is the creator of all things, including the Ainur themselves. Iluvatar's power is absolute and beyond comparison to any other being. When the Númenóreans attempted to invade Valinor, Eru responded by changing the very shape of the world, transforming it from flat to round and removing Valinor from its physical boundaries. Unlike all other beings in Tolkien's mythology, Eru Iluvatar exists beyond the confines of Arda and its fate. Sauron, even at the height of his power with the One Ring, would be less than a mote of dust compared to the infinite power of the Creator. And that concludes our list of all beings stronger than Sauron in Middle-earth. Do you agree with the ranking? Let us know in the comments down below.